Well, we're almost at the first day of school, and with that comes the first day of another key part of fall, music lessons. Many kids will be taking music lessons for the very first time this fall on a wide range of instruments, and that means whole families will soon be involved in piano, guitar, voice, and everything in between and around. One of the places that kids first encounter music lessons here in Winnipeg is at Academy of Music on St. Anne's Road. But of course, they specialize in sending their instructors right into the homes of first-time music students and beyond. Shawn Coughlin is the director at Academy of Music and joins us here in the Classic 107 studios. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well, Nolan. Thank you for having me today.
Thanks for taking the time. First of all, when it comes to those first music lessons, in your vast experience, how important are those sorts of first impressions when it comes to welcoming a music teacher into your life?
For sure. Well, that's, very, very important decisions, when you're introducing a child to music lessons. You want to make sure that you find the right instructor for the fit for your child. Every student and child is different, and comfort level. You want to find someone, obviously, that has the background, the experience, the knowledge, and also you want to find the right fit personality-wise. Perhaps every child is a little different in terms of how they respond. So in some cases, you want maybe somebody who's a little, pushes the child a little harder, maybe a little more of a disciplinarian. Others want to have more of a fun, low-key approach.
Sure.
And so it depends on commitment level. So there's a few factors going into it, but certainly selecting the right teacher. So we take that headache out for parents in terms of, we go through the process of finding, a number of, you have close to 50 teachers on staff.
Wow.
And ranging from a wide range of experience, both in the classical and jazz field, which is, I know, Classic 107, you're right into the classical and jazz field. And,
you betcha.
And, of course, we also even have some contemporary popular styles as well, but those are, I would say we have a good stronghold of a variety of teachers.
Maybe you can walk us a bit through that process you were just talking about.
Sure.
of trying to find that perfect match between student, teacher, and family. What does that look like at Academy of Music?
And of course, there's other factors involved as well in terms of scheduling, convenience, where you live. Families are busy, so there's a number of factors all involved that way. So what we do with at Academy of Music, we kind of make it simple where if they were to go to our website, on the registration page, they can select their preference, first of all, if they would prefer to have the in-home lesson or to come to our studio, or even online. Of course, we offer online now as, for a number of years now.
Sure.
And so that also works for some families. And then from there, selecting, scheduling what days and times work, and so depending on the area of the city that they work, that they live, I should say, will all factor into that. And then certainly they can also make some notes in terms of if they're looking for a particular type of teacher, or even have a conversation with us. If they just call directly, we can speak directly with the families if they're looking for a particular type of a personality, or especially if they have any special needs. We have some teachers that have some experience with students that may have some special needs in some circumstances.
Sure. I'm sure then, as you're trying to find that perfect match between student and teacher, that parents will oftentimes have questions or maybe accommodations that maybe they need to make time for whatever else is going on in their family's life. Of course, we're talking about everything else starting up for kids here as well. Every single extracurricular activity that comes with back to school beginning as well. What are some tips maybe you offer to parents about that first experience in music lessons as they're getting ready for their child to start this for the first time? What are some tips that you say to parents? Here's what maybe we can do to get them excited about this new thing that is going to be a part of their lives.
For sure. For sure, you want to make it a positive experience, and the one thing that you'll want to make sure is that the student will have a proper instrument as well. You want to part of making it a good experience is having a proper instrument at home, and so that's one thing besides having a good instructor to choose from, because the instrument that they should be practicing every day should be something that is suitable for them. So that's certainly one thing, we also recommend that the families, support the commitment in terms of practicing with the child, especially if it's a younger child. Oftentimes, they may even be with the child at home, helping them with the practice, depending on the age of the child, to make sure that they're being successful in meeting the requirements that the teachers are asking them to practice on, whatever that may be, if it's a technique or so forth. So there's a lot that goes into. So the more that the families are involved, especially in the younger child, that certainly will help to make it successful.
Yeah. So then after that sort of first experience happens, you touched on this a little bit, then comes the all-important practicing.
Yes,
every
for
single
sure.
day, such a vital part of developing those skills. What are some tips and tricks you're offering to ensure that kids want to stick with that habit and make it a part of their day-to-day lives?
For sure. So the first thing is to make the commitment to practice and to come up with some type of a schedule that will work with the family situation. So whether it's scheduling practice before you may go to school, or perhaps as soon as you come home from school, or after supper time, having a consistent type of a schedule is the first thing, just to get that set. And so that would be the first thing, is to make sure, and that each teacher will have perhaps a different system in terms of a practice record to ensure that they're following that. Some teachers may recommend to practice certain songs a number of particular times. It may not even be the length of time, but just to repeat certain skills a certain number of times per day or per week, whether it's scales or etc. And also to spend some time just having fun and fooling around on your instrument besides doing what's required.
Sure.
You want to experiment and have fun and be creative, and that's another big part of music, is being creative and having fun with it. So it's not necessarily always just about practicing what the teacher is asking you to do.
Right.
Even exploring and being creative, making up your own, musical ideas and compositions. And
Right.
we have students that do their own compositions as well with our recitals, which I should also bring up. Twice a year we have recitals that are optional, but they're free. And so usually twice a year, usually December and June.
Okay.
Give the students an opportunity to do some performing as well, which is another big part of it.
A great chance for students to get to showcase the things that they've learned and the skills that they're developing.
Yeah.
You talking about that, like, sort of joy of experimenting with the instrument brought back to me a memory of taking clarinet lessons very briefly, and going through the exercises, making sure that everything was going okay, and that's, developing the embouchure, I believe, as the players say. But then I was like, I wonder if I could play the Imperial March from Star Wars. And so then I tried to figure that out. And sure enough, I could do it. But then I can hear my mom yelling up the stairs, "That doesn't sound like practicing to me." But practicing by a different name. I feel I feel vindicated by you here today, Shawn. So there are probably some parents out there still contemplating whether music lessons are the right thing for their family coming up into the year. I understand there's still registrations being accepted by the Academy of Music for this upcoming year. If people are listening and they're maybe on the fence about whether they want to do this, how can they, maybe first of all, what would you say to those who are thinking about it but not quite sure? And then how can they get in touch with Academy of Music to learn a little bit more?
For sure. So in terms of I think a big part, I would just go ahead, and if they're thinking about the possibility, I would just go ahead and and do it. Just make the commitment that I think every child, should have the opportunity to explore music to their full potential. And of course, they learn this in school, but oftentimes they really don't get enough time or the recommended amount of time that's really required to fully develop. So I think I would just go ahead and make that commitment to register for lessons. And with our school, they can go directly to our website. So it's academymusic.ca. And with our website, they'll find all the information regarding our classes, our programs that we offer. We're going to be adding teacher bios as well by next month. So if they'd like to actually read up on our instructors, that'll be something that we'll have on the website. And then if they go to our registration page, from there they can just directly fill up the information, and they can select if they prefer the in-home or studio or even online scheduling information, all that sort of thing. And then once they register, the teacher will go ahead and contact them and get that arranged. If they do have any specific questions regarding instruments or specifics about lessons that they don't find on the website, they can certainly call us and call me directly. And our phone number 204-786-1704.
We will link all of that contact information at our website this morning, classic107.com, and on the Classic 107 app. Shawn Coughlin from Academy of Music, thank you so much for joining us here in the Classic 107 studios today and telling us more about back to music lessons here this fall.
Thanks for having me, Nolan.